Robbery. Rashford has left Manchester United. It's a here we go. His deal to Aston Villa is all yet to be confirmed. We'll be going through what Fabrizio said. It was a pretty early here we go. I'm going to react to the latest of what's happened now. Listen, it's very disappointing first. Rashford's been at the club for over 20 years and it's never good to see a player leave. And I think it was getting very toxic. I don't actually think this was the best move for Marcus Rashford, but we'll talk about that later on. Let's get into it now. So it started off by Fabrizio Romano, obviously last 72 hours with sort of Duran leaving. It opened the door for Rashford to go. And it came out, Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa, here we go. Agreement in place on loan deal with over 70% of salary covered. Buy option clause worth 40 million, also including the contract with potential 3.5-year deal to follow. Listen, on the Rashford situation, it's sad, but 70% of the wages, that's over 200 grand a week. He'd be the top earner at Aston Villa. I think ultimately it is a deal that had to be done though. It was getting very toxic for him at Manchester United. He wasn't simply doing enough. I think this is the fresh start that he needs. He'd be playing Champions League football. It gives him a new option, but I don't think this was the option ultimately he wanted at the start. I think he wanted to go somewhere like a Barcelona, something like that. But ultimately you have to deal with what you get, and I think Aston Villa are the club for him at this moment now. As I said, it's a new start for him. When you look at all the pictures, you look back on when he made his debut in 2016 as an 18-year-old. Like, it's sad he's been at the club all his life, and you can see what Manchester United means to him. But simply on the pitch, he just hasn't been good enough in the past few weeks to meet the standard that is required of Manchester United. And ultimately, in that case, Rashford has to go. I think his performances on the pitch haven't been good enough for a while now, and he's had a few inconsistent seasons. Now, 40 million also included in the contract. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Obviously, it is a loan deal. I mean, we've got Sancho and Rashford out on loan, which is something you would never see happen. Or you never thought would happen when they were both at the club. I think it is interesting. Obviously, he doesn't fit in the system. He kind of has been frozen out. It does obviously now have the opportunity for Manchester United to bring someone else, whether that is Tell, whether that's, I don't know who else really they're going to bring it. Either is Tell, you've got to be linked to Leon Bailey as well. So there is opportunities for Manchester United to bring in other players. I think with the Rashford situation, I think the way it's ended has been the wrong way. I'm sure Rashford is a player who is still loved by Manchester United. He said goodbye to his teammates yesterday. The medical's booked today. We'll probably get an official announcement maybe tomorrow. So, listen, it is disappointing. I thought Rashford would be one of those players who stays his whole career at United. He's 27. He's entering the prime of his career. And he simply just isn't good enough to be at Manchester United at this current moment. Now, United obviously have a game. Rashford wasn't even going to be a part of the squad anyway. He's probably travelling down to Birmingham to complete his medical. He'll be still playing in the Premier League. I think you wish Rashford all the best. I'm sure many Manchester United fans will still be watching to kind of see what he can do for Villa, and I'm sure it will kind of boost his confidence if he does play. He's going away from United as a toxic environment, but he still will be faced with the same media. But as I said, they're playing Champions League football, the higher in the Premier League. Is a system that actually suits him as well, getting runs in behind. But ultimately, for me, I'm very disappointed. I remember watching Rashford on his debut, 2016, against Midtjylland, against Arsenal on his first Premier League start, scoring goals. And listen, like, he's had a few inconsistent seasons and he hasn't been good enough. But I think his time at Manchester United will be seen as a positive time and a very, very enjoyable time for someone like Marcus Rashford. I think it's important to look at the positive in terms of a buy option clause with 40 million. Is he worth? He probably is worth about 40 million. I mean, there was a period where he was up in that 100 million mark. He's going to be playing for Villa. I'll be watching, as I said, some of their games. And you want Rashford to do well wherever he goes. But listen, let's see what happens. Here we go. Does that give us United maybe a couple of days or a couple of hours, 24, 48 hours to bring someone into the team, whether that's Tell, Leon Bailey? We need someone to replace Rashford now that he's gone. And I think Manchester United will do that. I'm hoping it's someone who we really can we can get. Obviously Crystal Palace sorry, not Crystal Palace, Aston Villa obviously sign Asensio as well, so they're bringing in a lot of players. They're doing the money that's well spent from Duran. But 40 million contribution to our PSR if Villa buy Rashford, added loan fee which will be a few £1 million, 50.7 million saved on wages for the remaining 3 years of his contract. Really don't know how some fans are complaining. listen, let's see what happens. As I said, I'm disappointed, but Rashford has gone. A very, very good player. And yeah, listen, I'm happy that he's gone. I think it was the right time for him to leave, but again, it's still going to be disappointing. Let's see what happens. Thanks for watching, and peace.